gonna have some fun around here today. Good Saturday morning, guys. You're listening to Exit Strategies. I am your host, Corwyn J. Melette, broken owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful, North Charleston, South Carolina. Now, look, if this is your first time listening to the show, guys, you are in for a treat. Guys, our mission here is very simple. That is to empower our community, the African American community, through financial literacy and real estate education, guys. We are legacy building. So when you're out there in those streets making those things happen, guys, I want you to put a hashtag on that thing. I want you to put hashtag legacy building when you're out there buying them houses, when you are out there buying them investment properties, when you're out there doing those things, guys, it's going to increase and create a legacy for your family. We want to see it when you're starting these businesses that you're legacy building, guys. We want to see it. So spread that word, guys. You can find us on Facebook, guys, Exit Strategies Radio Show. You can find us on Facebook, guys. Hopefully, trustfully soon, guys, we are looking at making a move and adding, or excuse me, I'm sorry, not making a move, but adding on Instagram. Guys, you can catch us on YouTube, Exit Strategies Radio Show. Guys, you can watch our content when I'm in the studio. Most times, guys, we are recording what we're doing here in the studio, posting those videos, guys, to our page there, and also sharing it over on the Facebook periodically as well. So please make sure, guys, that you go take a look at the content, listen to it. If I say something today, guys, if you've heard something and maybe you're like, hey, look, I missed all of that, I love to get the rest of that information, guys, let's go back, let's get it, let's make it happen. But most importantly, share it. Some of these words, some of this encouragement, some of this motivational, whatever it is that we're doing around here, because most times I really don't know. But whatever it is we're doing around here, guys, look, sometimes it is not just meant for you. Sometimes it's not meant for you at all. Maybe it's somebody that you're sit next to in the cubicle at work. Maybe it's somebody across the floor at the job. Maybe it's somebody on the other end of the pew with you at church, wherever it is. Maybe it's somebody within your family somewhere that's been going through something, and whatever it is that we're talking about here today is what it is they need to hear. And in turn, you have the ability and the option to share it with them and give them a little bit of help. So please make sure you're doing that. Let your friends, your family know. Guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate the feedback. I run into a lot of you guys out there, in the streets, as I call it, but out there in the community, and you guys are listening to us here on the show. I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm astounded by the number of people that I bump into just in other conversation, and it comes up, oh yeah, I listen to you on the radio on Saturdays, and I'm like, wow. So look, I appreciate you guys listening, because what we're doing here, what we're trying to do here, guys, is empower our community and help you guys make some different choices, and in turn end up with, importantly, some different results. So I also want to give a quick shout out. You know, it's always breakfast time. We like to talk about that breakfast. I'm going to give a special shout out today to a realtor friend of mine, Shakima Chapman. I'm over at Carolina Elite. If you guys know her, y'all give her a shout. Tell her that you heard her name on the radio, because she got some cane patch syrup, I think, in her cabinet somewhere or another. And I'm trying to see if I can find my way over there to grab some of it, because y'all know I ain't no pancakes or no waffles in about 4, 5, 6 months, because they done shut down my favorite syrup place. So if anybody mama got some cane patch, anybody, look here, I want to know about it. Y'all let me know about it, because I am trying to get to it. So look, guys, look, we are really excited. I want to talk today. It's been very interesting over the last several weeks what we've been doing and what we've been putting together. You guys, listen to us last week. We had a blast in the studio, and I'll be remiss if I ain't tell you that I'm messing around and let me in the booth alone today. So that means that we're gonna get down nitty gritty. We're gonna have some talks today. I'm gonna bring some things to your remembrance, if you will. And trustfully, these things will encourage and inspire you, re-energize you, because look here, we 5 months past January 1. Technically 5 months. I'm gonna say it that way, but we're almost 5 months away from January 1. So those New Year's resolutions, some of y'all guys are kind of faltering and taping off. Sometimes some of y'all letting up off the gas, or pushing the clutch in or something. Otherwise, they're disengaging, and we want to make sure that we are not allowing that to happen. If we're hitting the clutch or we're coming up off the gas, we want to make sure that we're hitting it, because we're about to hit another gear, and we're going to come up off of it to get back on the gas and move forward. So I want to make sure we have some conversations today. So A couple of weeks ago, guys, we were down in Hollywood, had a great time. We're excited. We're getting ready to put together, or a matter of fact, we've already got together, our program, what we're going to do for our home buyer club down in Hollywood. If you guys are interested in any of our home buyer clubs, please give a call to the office, 843-619-3005. Again, 843-619-3005. And just say, hey, look, I'm interested in being a participant in a home buyer club. Guys, it is free. We're going to get you in. We're going to, educate you on the things you need to know before you buy a house, the things you need to do while you're trying to buy a house, the closing process, as well as what you need to be aware of after you own a house. Guys, we're going to, run this program for about 4 months. We're going to, ask obviously that you commit the time to participate. So we're going to break this thing down in the next couple of weeks. We're going to start delving into, what it is that we're going to be talking about, not giving away all the information, obviously, but we're going to start having that conversation right here on air so you guys know what this thing is about. And if you can't make it, when we start a club, that's fine. If you miss a module, no problem, because what we're going to do, we're going to make it continuous. So we're setting these dates, and we're going to be starting down in Hollywood in June, guys. Second Saturdays is what we're going to be looking at, and we're going to start running this program and kind of walking you guys through these processes and steps and educating you on what you need to know about your credit. If you listened to our show last week, you heard one of my very own right here in the studio with me, Crystal Brown. You heard her in here. She's excited. She's stoked. She's been out there in the streets knocking on doors, busting down tables and all that kind of stuff to let people know that, hey, look, you don't have to be out here, as one of former agent I used to work with some years ago used to say, all willy-nilly. You ain't got to be out here all willy-nilly, with your credit any old kind of way. We're going to give you some options. We got options to help you guys fix them. So, that's what we want to be focused on. We have a credit restoration workshop slated in our office, guys, in our office. We're going to be doing this, and we're going to be doing this on the 18th of this month. That is a Saturday. That's a 10 o'clock start. Guys, I want to let you know that I'm going to be there. I'm coming straight off a business trip. And I'm coming straight in, and we're going to hit this thing hard, and we're going to talk about what it is that you guys need to start looking at and how you can start changing your financial situation, starting with your credit. So guys, look, please, Crystal gave you a number last week. Please make sure that you reach out to her. If you don't have that number, guys, we're going to pull it for you and let you know what it is. But for lack of a better way to put it, just make sure that you are getting out there, getting that information and knowing what it is that you need to do. That's really what it's about. You got to make sure that you guys are engaging, that you're working to get some things done, and otherwise making some progress, because that is what it is about. So guys, look, if you're interested again in our home buyer club, that we're starting up, again, we're going to be in Hollywood starting on the second Saturday of June. We're also going to be starting around that same time for a club that's going to take place in the North area in North Charleston. If you have interest, please give our office a call, 843-619-3005. Just let them know you heard it here on the station. Whatever agent is you talk to, they'll make sure they get you registered for that workshop. Again, that is 843-619-3005. So I want to come back and I want to have a conversation. Before I get too far, and then I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Every time they set me loose in the booth, I need to do something a little bit different. And with that, I'm gonna give you guys a verse, because the reality is everything that is associated with what I do, to be very direct about it, is a faith walk, guys. It really is. So for you guys that are thinking about owning your own home, buying a home, the reality is that you've been conditioned over time. You've been conditioned over time to be a renter. That's what you started with. Oftentimes, that is in turn what it is that you are most naturally or comfortable with, if you will. That is your natural habitat, so to speak, that you are comfortable being a renter. To be truthful about it, most of you have been renting for quite some time, probably been in the same place the whole time. No worries. No worries. I completely understand. But the reality is that whenever you get that gumption, that idea that you want to do something different, that you want to leverage and create a legacy and show your children a better way and give them a better outcome, to be very direct about it, this entire thing is a faith walk. You'd be surprised at the number of people that I've assisted over my years that have had poor credit day one. They've had very low income day one. I always tell this story within my office to my agents how I assisted a lady one time purchasing a home. She bought a, at the time when the market where the market was, it was a very not low priced home. It was probably on par and on average for the market at that time, and only had an income of just over $1,100 a month. And that was surprising to me, but we figured out ways and got creative and worked diligently to make those things happen. But what I know is that buyer had faith. Not that they were going to buy a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story, 30,000 square feet with swimming pool and all these other amenities that people want. It wasn't faith that it was going to be a particular thing. It was just that a particular home, it was faith that it was going to be a home. See, there's a difference. See, I noticed this, and I've been working with a lot of buyers and sellers, obviously, but a lot of buyers over the last few weeks that are consistently on a reach. And I get it. I understand that obviously we want all that we can have. But the reality is that sometimes those things that you are reaching for are really outside of your grasp, and it's not where God is giving you an arm long enough to reach to. So in turn, reach where you can and achieve that which you can, because that is where you're supposed to start at. And it's amazing to me how often we lose sight of that. This entire thing is a faith walk. I get it. I get it. But you also got to be realistic and understand what God is trying to tell you at times. It ain't just me, because believe me, it has nothing to do with me. But guys, look here, we just got that signal for that first break. You're listening to Exit Strategies. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We just, unfortunately, we just did that. We just kind of cracked the egg right then, just kind of went in a little bit. So bear with me. I'm gonna try to keep this thing together for you as best as possible and not kind of run off the rails. But we have to remember that this home buying process, guys, is unique. It is unique to each person who is, seeking to buy. And it's always funny. I tell this story oftentimes of a buyer that is listening to those people that have bought other homes or this or that, day and the third, and in turn they're trying to make their situation, their transaction, theirs. And I get it. Obviously, the things that are pleasant, you want to make yours. And it's oftentimes that the reality is that the things that person went through won't be the same journey that you take. It won't be the same outcome either. You're not buying the same home. You're not buying the same time. You don't have the same financial, or credit background or anything. There's a number of variables and factors to consider there. So in turn, your journey won't be the same. But it's amazing to me how people oftentimes want to make the journey consistent when the times have changed. So you have to be realistic. You have to gain some understanding. You have to be willing to understand. That's probably foremost the biggest thing. We lose understanding, it seems, at times when we want something to go a certain way. And that is not the way that this has all been meant to be. Y'all excuse me, I had to get a little something from my throat there. But that's what we have to focus on, guys. That's what we have to look at and otherwise work on. It is truly, truly what I see oftentimes as not only the hindrance, but the primary obstacle that people encounter along the way to a successful home buying experience. You have to do something different. So guys, we're about to go back to the air here in a few minutes. Just bear with me. We're going to get it on. And we are back, guys. Second segment of Exit Strategies Radio Show. I am your host, Corwyn J. Melette, broken owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina, guys. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the show, our mission here is quite simple. That is to empower our community, the African American community, through financial literacy, guys, and real estate education. So look here, when y'all out there in those streets, y'all out there thinking of things happen within the community, I want you to do something very simple for me. When you're tagging things on social media, I want you to do something just as simple as this. Put a hashtag legacy building behind it to let people know that you're working on a legacy for your family. The word teaches and tells us that we should leave an inheritance for our children and our children's children and so forth and so on. So I want you to do that. I want you to begin to get into that mindset and mentality now. And then most importantly, I want you to share that you're in that mindset and mentality now so that you can encourage someone else to either continue in it themselves or to enter into it so that we all can get there. So guys, look, they don't left me in this booth alone today. You know, they make that mistake every now and again, not too often, but every now and again. So I want to say something to you very profound, and for those of you who are listening before the break, you know, obviously, you know the whole drill. Find us on social media, Exit Strategy Radio on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Our content is there. Please, 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 just download it, watch it, share it. This word message, if you will, may or may not be for you. So let's make sure we get that out within the community. But I was going a little bit off script a little earlier, and just kind of what I'm giving you the reality. I'm gonna touch on something statistics wise here in a bit, so that we can kind of bring this thing here together as we work to get closer to the end of the show. But I want to touch on something. For some of y'all that are biblical scholars, for those of you who keep that word close to you at all times, for those people, you guys know where I'm probably going to go here right quick. But we're going to have a conversation briefly about some things that I've been encountering recently in the market. Right now, I have a high number of buyers that I directly am working with, and my agents each have a number of buyers that they're working with, and we're encountering this thing in the market where the appreciation in the market is, and as far as price, is exceeding, if you will, the buyer's tolerance. And I get it, I understand it, but we're not making an adjustment. And what I mean by that is simply put this way: the prices of homes have increased. The buyer's tastes have not waned, but their budget doesn't match the price increase. So I'm watching a number of buyers who are floundering, trying to find homes in a certain price range that are a certain size in a certain location with certain features and in certain condition that currently doesn't match the market. Now, having been through an accelerated and increasing market, this is not new for me. I've been through this a number of times. But I'm gonna throw this out real quick and kind of pick up and carry that tangent for a short while here. Romans 8:28, you know what it says, guys. As to them that love God, all things work together for good, even to them that are called according to his purpose. Now, no matter what version you guys read, the King James or whatever, no matter what version, that means the same thing. Not technically, it means the same thing, guys. That those things work for good for those that love the Lord. So if you are of that faith, of that belief, then home ownership for you, again, is delivered. However, what happens oftentimes is that we want to be in control to make things conform. See, I recently was with a buyer who found a house, wonderful house that fit their family, but it wasn't right. I get it, but it wasn't right. Great location, it was in great condition, but it wasn't big enough, or it wasn't this, or it wasn't that. But the house that gives you that isn't in a location you want. Then, okay, what about this and what about that? There's so many variables, and then we find ourselves where we're running out of inventory because this market is extremely difficult. But see, recently I had someone that actually was in a similar situation, and the house actually, funny enough, this normally doesn't happen, but funny enough, got the opportunity to make the purchase even though there was competition at that time. They got the opportunity, not the other folks. That doesn't happen in this market, but yet and still now they're having, you know, second thoughts about it. And I get it, I understand. But if your opportunity has been given to you, then what do you do? So I won't go too far down that line and on that tangent, but I want to make sure that I'm emphasizing to you, our listeners here, that in this market that is so competitive, if you have the inkling and you believe, then in turn, that belief oftentimes is for a house. It's for a home, for your family. It's for whatever reason that it is that you're planning on doing it. That is what it is. You in turn have to be open to where it may be. See, when I bought my first home, what was important for me was the number of bedrooms, number of baths, obviously, and then price. I was open on location. So I looked at different things. And granted, the one that I actually ended up with was not the one that I ultimately had thought about initially anyway. Just kind of happened. Led up, boom, here we go. My current home was not in the area location initially where I wanted to be. Wasn't the home that I initially wanted, but it's the one that suited, fit, and the one that came to be. Things fell in place or lined up for it. So sometimes, guys, we have to remember that we get in our own way. We all know that. We do that consistently. We get in our own way as to the things that we're supposed to have. We really get, we, I won't say, as some people would say, I won't say that we block our blessings, but I will tell you with directness that we sometimes interfere with our opportunities. See, that is what we have to work on. We have to work on a spirit of accepting what God has given to you, the opportunity, the blessing of accepting, not challenging because it's not wrapped the way that we want. I'll share this as we come back off this next break, but there's a gift in it. And sometimes we get caught up on the wrapping paper. Guys, we got our next signal for our break. You're listening to Exit Strategy. We'll be right back. So yeah, here we go. Next round. So guys, obviously we appreciate you guys coming, listening, watching. If you're watching this, and obviously watching, but we appreciate it because the reality is that we're just trying to help people, encourage them in their way, in their path. This may or may not be, your show. This may or may not be something that you feel fits you. Maybe you have a friend or something that's going through and just struggling, on their home ownership journey, what have you. You got to encourage them, but not give them too much advice, because the reality is that whatever your encouragement is, whatever your situation may have been, whatever experience you may have had, may not translate into the same as theirs, as we was kind of talking about on the previous break. So with that being said and understand that the words, the information that you give to someone to encourage them, you have to be careful that it doesn't interfere. The encouragement is what's necessary, but the direct advice oftentimes may or may not be. The reason I say that is because if you bought a 3,000 square foot home, previous market, and paid $180,000 for it, your friend is not doing that today. So when you tell them that, then at that point in time, while you think you're helping them, the reality is that you're creating or helping to create a barrier to them within their mind, because now they're expecting to be able to do the same thing that you did. I won't say it to be to reference, something negative, but that jealousy or that envy or the assimilation, maybe is the better word for it, sets in. We want to assimilate to what other people have done or doing. That is what we have to be mindful of. We have to be mindful of what it is that we share, what it is that we give, because people want to be like you oftentimes. So they want a similar experience if it is positive. It's funny how we are, we go the opposite direction when it's not so good experience. Guys, we are back. Exit Strategies Radio. I'm your host, Corwyn J. Melette, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group. This is our final segment for today. They don't let me loose in this booth here alone, guys. Y'all know our mission. That's to empower our community through financial literacy and real estate education. So during the break, if you catch us, on the book, you'll see, some of the behind the scenes and some of the direct commentary. But I want to say something very profound to you guys, and I want to add this as a statistic for you. So recent article, came out saying that listing prices have set another record. And I was kind of talking about this a little bit earlier about where pricing and things are going and all those things so that buyers understand what's really going on. But the median list price in the United States, guys, is now across the country is $310,000. The median sales price of a home in the Charleston market actually exceeds $310,000, guys. Median price exceeds $310,000 in our market. So you have to understand that home prices, guys, have accelerated. They are still accelerating. And I understand that you may feel, want, or otherwise believe they should be different. Get it. The markets are driven by activity. It's the supply and demand. So when there is limited supply and high demand, prices go up. And there is the opposite that happens when there is abundance of supply and lower demand. But the reality is in our market that we have a fundamental need for housing. We have an influx of population. People are moving to our area. Also, we are increasing our own population. How many people don't have children? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So as we have increased our own population locally through natural means and then the assimilation or influx of new people into the market, we have an increased demand for housing. People need somewhere to stay. Now, you couple that with limited or scarceness of land, because there's a scarcity of land within the Charleston metro area. On the opposite side of downtown Charleston is water. We're not building out there. So you have to think about it. This is all supply and demand. That's how this thing works. So if you focus on understanding how the game works instead of sitting on the sidelines or standing on the field, as a lot of you guys do, stand on the field, you take up space, you occupy space on the field, but you stand there slumped over, waiting for a ball to be hit your way, with your shoulders slumped, glove at your side, head hung down low. And while you're doing that, you're actually missing the opportunities to be a part of a play. You're not doing it. You're not participating because you believe that things should be different. I get it. I completely understand it. However, my mindset, my focus has always been this. When a challenge arises, let's rise to meet the challenge. Let's not expect for the challenge to overcome us, to overrun us, most importantly, to hinder us from doing that which we have been called or otherwise led to do. You have that option. See, I was talking to someone very special to me and close to me, and I said, they were telling me and sharing with me something they heard recently about the wrapper, about the paper, about the gift that's inside, and how sometimes we get caught up with the packaging of it. See, the house that you may actually need, or the house that God may be sending for you, may be in a different wrapper. It may not look like it is that you should look or you think it should look. That's the same thing for the people that's in your life. The person that may be for you, the person that really has your back, may not be packaged in the manner that you believe or perceive they should be. So how many of you guys are out there right now missing the gift because you're looking at the paper? You're focused on the wrapper and not the contents. So I'm going to challenge you today to do something different, to look at the contents and not just the wrapper. Guys, we've gotten that signal. This has been Exit Strategies Radio. I'm your host, Corwyn J. Melette. I love you, and I'll see you soon. So y'all got that. Hope you heard it. Hope you felt it. Let's make this thing here happen.